Once you get set up with your framework diet, you're familiar with the things that you need to do on a week-to-week basis to make the change that you want. The next step is to set a deadline. As humans, we will procrastinate until that final margin to get stuff done. In order to set a date, and when you get a date, it then allows you to work backwards on the priorities that you need to have over that time frame. We will work together to find a deadline for you so that diets don't span 6, 12 months in nature. We want to get you into a position of where a diet is for a short space of time, and then you can get on learning about your lifestyle and get on learning about how to stay in the shape that you want. The goal of the first couple of weeks is to get set up with your framework, to start doing the things that you need to do to get that body weight off or to build that muscle. But having that date in mind will allow you to make those priorities. For most people, photo shoots cringe. They make people cringe. I don't want to take my top off in front of people. Why would I need to get that done? I'm not a bodybuilder, I'm not a bikini athlete, or not even a model. But I'd really implore you to look at the positives of what you get from a photo shoot or a commemorative day that will take images of what you look like. Even if it's just with the family and you get a photographer to do things in clothes, in suit and tie, in dress, looking great with the kids. It's your chance to show and caption that change that you've made and celebrate it. This would be really tough. This whole transformational journey be one of the hardest things that you do in your life. The accountability is there, the challenge is there. What I am asking you to do will be quite large in terms of changing your identity and habits, because that's what needs to change in the long term. Having that photo shoot date allows you to get pictures and allows you to commemorate it. And it has to be bigger than just a day where you wake up on a Friday and you're like, okay, my diet's finished. Because we need to build that anticipation for what's next. Once we have that date in mind, once we have that ability to prioritize, you can then make a switch to say, this is my new life. This is the lifestyle that I want to lead because I'm in the shape that I want to. It's really important that whilst it's not the all impending everything, it's something that raises your priority levels. It raises the importance of you doing the things that you've set up in the first few weeks to do. If you do not want to do a photo shoot, totally understand. I think you're missing the trick though by just getting pictures with the family or even just yourself to commemorate that date. You can set a deadline with me and we can work towards that. Maybe it's a meal out with friends. Maybe it's an event that you're going to and you want to wear a specific dress or a specific shirt because that's what you've always wanted to do. We will set that in date, set that in motion. It's really important that you have those level of priorities because, like I said at the beginning, if you do not have a set of priorities and have a deadline to work backwards from, it becomes really, really hard to make things important. And especially when this may have not been super important to you before, it needs to take a good leap of step up in your priorities. It doesn't need to be number 1, it doesn't need to be number 2 in your priorities. Family, friends, work will always stay over that. But it needs to go from 15 or 14 up to 5 and 6. Because when you do that, things start to really work for you. Self-care, self-help will always be better and have a transient effect on everything else that you do in your day. So if there's anything that you can do now when watching this, earmark a date. Come and speak to me about your expectations, how many weeks we need to diet for, and then let's put a date on it. Let's put a time frame on it. And if we need to, even when you have it, you can move it. It's never about that end date. It's always about the ability to create priorities. And creating priorities in a process will far outweigh just the end or the end point that you're trying to work towards.